Hello, hello, hello. We're back again. Hello. Welcome back to the Civil Point Podcast. I am your host, none other than Ariana Dieva, and we are back with another day in the world of America where we need to learn how to unfuck America. Because at this point, it's getting a little bit dramatic. Every day, it's something. Now we're facing an entire government shutdown that the right wants to blame on trans healthcare and trans people, because obviously trans people are in our government officials' heads so much to the point where they can't even come to a budget decision. So we're going to talk about that. But before we get to that, we are going to talk about a lot of stuff. I mean, how many times does Donald Trump have to show his racism before people actually start to see that this man is an old, deranged, senile, dementia-ridden lunatic that doesn't even know his customs in regards to literally people? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's so insane to me how this man is continuously posting racially insensitive things. So I want to get into this first because it is mind-boggling to me that he would post this on his Truth Social. By the way, can I just say, I downloaded Truth Social because I want to be a thorough, I don't want to say journalist, but I want to be someone who thoroughly investigates claims. So I downloaded Truth Social to my own dismay. I didn't even want to, but I want to see actual things for myself, and I downloaded it. And isn't ironic? I swear to God, Truth Social is a Donald Trump ego pet. That's what it is. It's an ego stroke for Donald Trump. I don't like that I hear buzzing, and it's annoying me. It's really effing annoying me. Okay. This is all brand new equipment too, so I don't know why it's happening like this. Someone does not want me to speak. Anyway, I downloaded Truth Social, and I was like, okay, let me download this. Don't want to, but I still want to see things for my own eyes. Download Truth Social, and this is why I think Truth Social was made for Donald Trump as an ego stroke, as a stroke of his real quick, because I download it, and the first thing that happens is Donald Trump pops up, and I'm automatically following Donald Trump. Are you kidding me? Why do you need that much of an ego stroke for an entire social media platform that's filled with none other than right-wing demographics who are already going to follow you? Why do I need to automatically follow you on Truth Social the second I sign up for it? It's insane to me. It's a total stroke of Donald Trump's, and it's ridiculous. Nothing but misinformation and garbage when it comes to that social media site, Truth Social. Don't recommend it. Don't recommend it at all. Unless you're willing to get down with the pigs and dirty and gross, I don't recommend it. But I was on Truth Social, and this popped up. This popped up on Truth Social. More racism from Donald Trump, which is crazy because how much racist can he get? But I want to play this clip real quick because it's Donald Trump. Earlier today, it was Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer who were trying to come to a deal in regards to our government not being shut down. And after all of the talk, this is what Donald Trump basically had to say, making a joke that our government is about to be shut down. Look at this.
Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bullshit. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of shit, you know, at least for a while until they learn English and they realize they hate us too.
Isn't our president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, I can't even say his name anymore, Condon, that's what I'm going to go with, Scamander-in-Chief, that's what I'm going to go with, because this is so undiplomatic and unbecoming of a president, and the right is so offended by Newsom playing into Donald Trump's tactics. But yet you have our president, sitting president, current president in 2025, sitting in his Oval Office, posting a racially motivated and insensitive video that shows Hakeem Jeffries with none other than a sombrero on his head with Mexican music playing in the background when Hakeem Jeffries isn't even any part Mexican. So by the looks of Hakeem Jeffries to Donald Trump, Hakeem is a Mexican that needs to be deported and picked up by ICE illegally, rounded up in a white van, and thrown out of this country. That is exactly what Donald Trump is saying. Like, this video says it all when it comes to what the right thinks, what Donald Trump thinks, what this administration thinks about anyone that is not a white man. Don't you see how Chuck Schumer, this old white man, wasn't touched in this video, but a brown man, Hakeem Jeffries, was placed with a sombrero on his head, a fake mustache on under his nose, like he's a Materachi band player. Like, the racism is so clear, it's so pungent, and it's so repulsive, and yet our sitting president of the United States is sitting here posting this on a social media website to his followers that want to stroke his ego. It's insane to me. Not only that, but in this clip, first of all, why is everything trans people's fault? What is the right's obsession with trans people and quote unquote woke ideology? It's giving weird. It's giving weirdo. It's giving weirdo obsession with the amount of times the word trans and transgender comes out of these people's mouths. J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, all of these, Laura Loomer, I mean, all of these right-wing politicians, they can't even be called politicians, they're scum. They're right-wing scum, has such a hard-on for trans people that they want to blame everything on trans people, from gun violence to now shutting down the government because they don't want to give trans people health care. It's insane to me. I don't get it. And it's just, when you think about this, this is the sitting president of the United States sitting on a social media platform that is accessible to the entire world, and then, more importantly, accessible to the United States, posting a racially motivated and insensitive content in regards to Hakeem Jeffries being a Mexican when this man isn't even demographically Mexican. Make it make sense. Do you not see the racism plain in your face? You want to call that truth? That is truth for a Truth Social post, because he just truthfully outed himself as a complete and utter racist. I can't. It's just every day, this man, actually, no, I can't say every day. Sunday was a pretty calm day. But now we got Donald Trump woke up on Monday morning. He clocked in to be a terrorist, a domestic terrorist to the United States of America. And I say that because he now has apparently a whole entire plan for Gaza and Netanyahu to bring peace to the Middle East, blah, 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 blah. And it is not effing true. Again, I don't understand how the right and his base continue to feed into these lies that he has continuously brought forth in his presidency, not only this one, but his previous one, and say, this is okay, especially when it comes to Gaza. I mean, there is a complete and utter genocide going on in Gaza right now of people, and yet everyone in the United States right wing is turning a blind eye and saying, no, let's bow down to Trump. Let's bow down to Netanyahu. Yes, there are some people that are starting to wake up a little bit and say, oh, wait, this is a genocide. We need to calm it down a little bit. We need to pause. We need to take a break. We need to have this stop. And it's just not going anywhere. So, before I get off track in a whole ramble here, When we talk about Trump's racism, I mean, what is different because his base follows like there is no other. And when we talk about his base, we have to talk about now a huge announcement. Bad Bunny, he is officially going to be on the Super Bowl halftime show this year. He was just announced, and I want to play this.
Se acostó temprano, mañana hay que estudiar. Pero llamó a la amiga diciendo pa' janguear.
So, Bad Bunny was announced for the Super Bowl halftime show this upcoming year on February 8th, which is great. Amazing. I love that for him. Congratulations. And of course, you're going to have the racist bigots come out upset over the fact that a Latino man is going to be playing center stage at a halftime show at NFL because it's all American. You know what I'm saying? It's all American. But congratulations to Bad Bunny for getting this major accolade on his career. I mean, look who's performed at Super Bowl. You had Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake, you had Beyonce, you have Michael Jackson. I mean, all these people have performed at the Super Bowl, and I feel like that is a silver stamp for accolade of, hey, I've made it. And Bad Bunny's music has touched people. It's touched people around the entire world. This man is known worldwide. But then when it comes to Americans, of course their racism is going to show on their ass like it's a tattooed tramp stamp, because America cannot just shut their mouths when it comes to minorities having any type of success. So there was an entire backlash when this was announced from mostly, obviously, the extremist right-wing conservatives, not thinking that, you know, Bad Bunny, oh my God, he should not be performing because he's a Latino. So I just find it hypocritical that Bad Bunny is a music artist. All music artists are allowed to perform in the halftime show of the Super Bowl if asked. Now, a lot of people are thinking Taylor Swift was going to do it because of Travis Kelce, blah. I'm not even going to get into, I don't give two shits about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce as a couple. I just don't. But a lot of people are now up in the arms because Bad Bunny's performing. And it's like, calm down. Like, your racism is showing. Like, take a break from the racism. And I find it hypocritical because just 2 weeks ago, none other than Charlie Kirk was shot dead in his neck, and people were preaching and screaming about, hey, he was only speaking his truth. He was only speaking his views. Even though those views were racist, misogynistic, and damning to marginalized communities to try and have them not exist, they still praised Charlie Kirk for his work in trying to get woke dead. And you're sitting here saying Charlie Kirk had every right to voice his opinions. Well, so does Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny actually, I think, don't quote me on this, but took a leg of his tour from the United States and dropped it because he was afraid that ICE would be outside of the venues that he was performing and round up people, undocumented people, illegally. So he actually canceled a leg of one of his tours. So now MAGA is up in arms saying, well, he doesn't respect ICE, he doesn't respect law, he doesn't respect America, he shouldn't be playing at the Super Bowl. Well, I contextually and honestly, vehemently and adamantly disagree. I think in spite of your racism, I think NFL should award him with a second Super Bowl show next year, because you guys are so racist and bigoted. You guys need it shoved down your mouth how racist and bigoted you are. You need a mirror. That is what you MAGA needs, a mirror, because you can't preach we want love, acceptance of everyone, and preach about Charlie Kirk's teachings about how he needed to just speak up about everything he wanted to do and everything he felt, but then demoralize someone for doing the same thing that doesn't align with your view. Ridiculous. But the apple doesn't fall far from the tree when it comes to scummy Donald Trump and his followers of the maggots. It's just one and the same. They practically, I'm pretty sure, all share one brain cell, and it's turned on at some point to everyone throughout a day. That's what I think. But yeah, I mean, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree when it comes to Donald Trump, when it comes to MAGA. It just doesn't. And I'm saying this because also we had Donald Trump post something, again, racially motivated when it comes to Donald Trump. When is anything not racially motivated or bigotry motivated when it comes to Donald Trump? I mean, I feel like if you go through each and every one of his posts on True Social, it is just racism and bigotry. So, let's talk about more of that scummy scammer, Donald Trump, and his racism. So, he posted this today, the 29th. Self-proclaimed New York City communist Zorahn Mamdani, who is running for mayor of New York City, will prove to be one of the best things to ever happen to our greatest Republican Party. He is going to have problems with Washington like no mayor in the history of our once great city. Remember, he needs the money from me as president in order to fulfill all of his fake communist promises. He won't be getting any of it. So what's the point of voting for him? The ideology has failed. Always, for thousands of years. It will fail again, and that's guaranteed. President DJT. This man, I can't even call him a man, he's scum. Just, do you not read between the lines? He's basically saying that because Zorahn Mamdani is Muslim and he has ideas that oppose the ideas of the Republican Party and Donald Trump and his administration, he is going to withhold federal funding from New York City if New York City elects Zorahn Mamdani as the New York City mayor in the upcoming election. That's called election interference. That's called election meddling. That is what that is called, Donald Trump. And I guess Donald Trump is no stranger when it comes to election interference. I mean, there's starting to become credible evidence that have been excavated over the past few months that Donald Trump's election win could be possibly fraudulent. And it could result from election manipulation and interference. So that's why I say Donald Trump is no stranger to election interference, because he had election manipulation happen to gain him that presidency. So why not use those tactics that you know, Donald Trump, like the back of your molded, crusted up hand, and use them against Zorahn Mamdani to prevent him from becoming mayor? How dare you sit here and threaten the population of New York City and its demographics to not elect Zorahn Mamdani as its mayor because you threaten to withhold funding, federal funding, that is allocated to New York City, if needed. You threaten to withhold that funding and revoke it because you don't like the person who could possibly be elected. Blatant discrimination and blatantly un-American. Un-American. You want to talk about un-American? Donald Trump is the most un-American president we have had. I'm not talking about in the past 5 years. I'm not talking about in the past 10 years, in the 20 years. No, I'm talking about in the entirety of American history for the almost nearly 300 years that America has existed. This is the most un-American, not America first president we have had. And it is slowly and meticulously actually being evolved and excavated and shown to the public. And I hope that people see it sooner rather than later. So in regards to this weaponization of his autocratic power against New York City to threaten New York City to not elect Zorahn Mamdani as its mayor because he doesn't agree with the principles and the policies that Zorahn is putting forth, I mean, you have to look at the principles that guideline this in regards to the money of it all. Donald Trump doesn't control America's money. And he literally said, where is it? Let's see. Remember, he needs the money from me as president. Has Donald Trump actually went to any sort of diplomatic / law school or any sort, taken even a course in regards to our separation of powers and where the money actually comes from? Because the money comes from Congress, not the president. Yes, you are the executive, but the legislative branch handles, and Congress specifically handles the dealings when it comes to the allocation of funds. And Congress is the one that actually disperses those funds. Not you, Donald Trump. You get to sit there and look, I don't want to say pretty. Definitely not pretty. Even though some people would. But you get to sit there as president, but you don't get to dole out and dictate where funds go in regards to states. And you certainly don't get to weaponize your power, your falsified power as president and potential dictator, to say, you guys better not elect Zorahn Mamdani. He's in the running, he's in the winning, and I believe Zorahn is going to win because people are tired. People were tired from prior to Trump because Biden wasn't the best. People are tired during Trump because Trump is now showing to be the nasty, rotten, un-American individual he is. And maybe now we can turn to Zorahn Mamdani in regards to New York City and say, okay, maybe we can take a change here, take a little left in the route and see if this works. So Trump is pissed, Trump is mad, and he's using Truth Social to spout racism as well as election manipulation and interference tactics in regards to a New York City mayoral election. It's insanity. Get a book, read How Our Government Works, Donald Trump, and maybe you won't have so many lawsuits against you. Maybe you won't have so many court cases against you if you just read how our country works. And I wanted to point this out, though. It's scary because he just admitted to a consolidation of power when it comes to our government. He said he controls the money. And technically right now, even though that's not how our government works, he does. I mean, he is the president. And unfortunately, Congress is overwhelmingly a majority Republican right now. So technically, if he doesn't want that money to go to New York City, it won't go to New York City. And this is what we try to avoid in our Constitution, a consolidation of power when it comes to the executive branch and the presidency. And now we are in a space where our president controls the executive and basically a portion of the legislative branch. And this is what our Constitution has been looking to remove and potentially have in our government for centuries. So, I don't know. It's insane to think about it. And when you think about how many lies Condon has told in regards to his promises, and obviously he breaks promises, but when you see the lies that he's told in regards to the Epstein files, and now there is potential proof that there has been election manipulation in the 2024 election cycle, you have to wonder and cognitively put some math together of 1 + 1 = what? 2. When it comes to the Epstein files, Donald Trump knew he was in those files because he was friends with Epstein. Not only did he know he was friends with Epstein and he was in those files, but then he made this whole scheme that he's going to release the files and ran on people's heartstrings, knowing that people would want to hold accountable people who hurt minor children. So then he rallied his base and he got the presidency, but knowing he was in those files, he said, we're not going to release a file of that in regards to the majority of something that would incriminate him when it comes to the evidence and the documentation of those files. So he got in that presidency knowing he was in those files. He got into the presidency knowing that he was going to not release those files, and not only did he get into that presidency through election manipulation, but he sat there, and now our legislative branch, Congress, is saying we are not releasing those files either. It is a stonewall of providing transparency to the American public, and that is un-American. It's a consolidation of power to protect pedophiles. And I want you to remember the people that you voted in MAGA, Donald Trump, and all the Republicans that are sitting in Congress are voting against releasing those files. It's not Democrats. It's not anyone but your own Republican constituents. And I want to make it very clear. Again, stop blaming trans people. Trans people aren't the source of your problems. If you really cognitively think, you're going to understand the source of your problems and disinformation, misinformation, and no transparency is the people you voted into office. That's the truth. So, yeah. That's really all I had for this episode. That is really it. There was nothing really else that I wanted to say. But I really got into a little bit of a rant there. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a great week. I'm pretty sure there will be more drama unfolding in our government as we are imminent on a government shutdown because Donald Trump and JD Vance wants to blame trans people for the shutdown when it's truly the ball is in their court, and they have the House, they have the Senate, they have the presidency. I mean, every bit of power to not shut down the government, and yet they're going to shut down the government because they don't want trans people to have rights. They don't want trans people to have health care. So if trans people are going to have health care, then no one's going to have health care. That's how it's working in the mind. So you want to talk about un-American and putting America first. Donald Trump is not putting America first. He's holding the fact that trans people are a marginalized group of people, and he's trying to hold them hostage by holding America hostage. Stop blaming trans people on your problems, Donald Trump, and this entire administration. Find a different focus, like maybe helping America. And plus, with all these tariffs reimbursements in regard to what we gained from these tariffs, which is quotably about $17 billion, why are we shutting down the government for funding, for insufficient funding, when we have $17 billion generated from tariffs that Donald Trump has claimed he has successfully put in the United States as United States first, America first? Make it make sense. Cognitively think. How is it trans people's fault that the government is shutting down when our government imported $17 billion that could help avoid a government shutdown and bring health care to the American public? Cognitively think. I leave you on that. Thank you guys for joining me on the Civil Point podcast. I am your host, Ariana. If you haven't already, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you on the next episode of the Civil Point podcast. Bye.